Right now, at this exact second, there are people on Earth traveling through time. Not in a movie, not in a dream. In real life, happening right above your head. Astronauts on the International Space Station are aging slightly slower than you are, right now, while you watch this video. That is not science fiction. That is proven, measured, real science. And once you understand how it works, you will realize something that should completely change how you think about time itself. Because if time travel is already happening in small amounts, the real question is not if it's possible. The real question is how far it can actually go. Think about your own relationship with time for a second. You probably feel like time is something fixed. Something the same for everyone, everywhere, all the time. A minute for you is a minute for me. A year for you is a year for everyone else on this planet. That feels obvious. It feels like basic common sense. Except it is completely wrong. Time is not the same for everyone. It never has been. It just moves so close to the same speed for most of us that we never notice the difference. But the moment you leave normal, everyday conditions, that illusion breaks apart completely, and reality starts behaving in ways that feel almost impossible to believe. Here's where it gets strange. In the early 1900s, a scientist most of us have heard of but never truly understood, Albert Einstein published an idea that shook the entire scientific world. He proposed that time is not fixed, it bends. It stretches. It slows down or speeds up depending on how fast you are moving and how strong gravity is around you. At the time, most people thought this sounded like fantasy. Surely time just ticks forward the same way for everyone, everywhere in the universe. But Einstein wasn't guessing. He was doing the math. And decades later, that math would be tested in ways nobody expected, using tools Einstein himself never even got to see. Fast forward to today, and this is not just theory anymore. It's measurable, provable fact. Every single GPS satellite orbiting our planet is moving fast enough and sitting far enough from Earth's gravity that time actually passes differently for it compared to time down here on the surface. If engineers did not correct for this difference every single day, your GPS location would drift off by miles within hours. Miles because of time moving at a different speed, just a few hundred miles above your head. Astronauts who spend months on the International Space Station return to Earth having aged a tiny fraction of a second less than the rest of us. It's small. It's measured in milliseconds. But it is real, it is proven, and it means something enormous. Time travel, in its most basic form, is not some far-off dream. It is already happening quietly every single day. But here's the question that keeps scientists up at night. If tiny amounts of time travel are already real, how far could this actually go? Could someone, someday, travel forward in time by years, not milliseconds? And even more intense, could anyone ever find a way to travel backward, into the past? This is where the story shifts from proven fact into the edge of scientific possibility, and where things get genuinely mind-bending. According to Einstein's equations, traveling forward in time faster than normal is not just possible in theory, it is almost guaranteed under the right conditions. If you moved close enough to the speed of light, even for what felt like a short trip to you, years or even decades could pass back here on Earth. Imagine boarding a spacecraft, traveling near light speed for what feels like 1 year of your life, and returning home to find that 50 years have passed for everyone you left behind. Your friends aged decades. The world moved on without you. You technically traveled into the future. That is not a movie plot. That is a real, mathematically supported outcome of relativity, and scientists take it seriously as a genuine possibility for extreme space travel. Traveling backward in time is where things become far more controversial and far more intense. Some physicists have proposed theoretical shortcuts through space and time itself, sometimes called wormholes, tunnels that could, in theory, connect two different points in space and time. On paper, some versions of Einstein's equations do not completely rule this out. There are even strange theoretical solutions, sometimes called closed time-like curves, mathematical paths where, in principle, you could end up back where you started in time as well as space. But here's the twist that keeps this firmly in the world of theory rather than reality. Nobody has ever found one of these wormholes. Nobody knows if they could stay open long enough, or survive, or be built at all. And many top scientists believe the universe has built-in laws that may make traveling backward in time either physically impossible or so violently unstable that it could destroy anything that tried. And that leads to the most famous, mind-bending problem in this entire topic. If backward time travel were ever truly possible, even in theory, it opens the door to something scientists call a paradox. Imagine traveling back in time and changing one small event, and that single change ends up preventing your own existence in the future. If you never existed, you could never travel back to change anything in the first place. So did it happen or not? Some scientists believe the universe would simply not allow this kind of contradiction to exist. Others believe reality might split into alternate timelines to avoid the problem entirely. Nobody knows for certain. And that uncertainty is exactly why this topic still fascinates and terrifies scientists at the highest level, decades after Einstein first proposed it. Here's the moment that should really hit you. You already are a time traveler, just an incredibly slow one, moving forward 1 second at a time, exactly like everyone else on this planet. The technology and physics required to travel meaningfully forward already exist in theory, tested through real experiments involving speed and gravity. Traveling to the past remains locked behind physics we do not yet fully understand, if it's even possible at all. But the fact that forward time travel is proven, measured, and real means the line between science fiction and science fact is far thinner than most people ever realize. What felt impossible 100 years ago is now something engineers calculate into your phone's GPS system every single day, without you ever even noticing. So the next time you feel like time is just slipping away from you, remember this. Time is not as fixed, or as fair, or as simple as it feels. It bends, it stretches. It moves differently depending on where you are and how fast you're going. Somewhere above your head right now, astronauts are quietly living proof that the rules of time are not the same for everyone. We are not just passengers riding through time at a fixed, unchangeable speed. We are already part of an experiment far bigger and stranger than most of us ever stop to consider. If this changed the way you think about time itself, imagine what happens when we go deeper into the physics of black holes next. Subscribe because the biggest mysteries of the universe are only just beginning to unfold.